Welcome back to art class. Today we are going to be starting our Pablo Picasso Cubism portraits. You're going to get a blank white piece of paper. You're going to write your name and your class code on the back and then flip it over, and we are going to be using these paint dabbers and markers and crayons today. We're going to get started on the basic shapes for the background of our cubism portrait. So we're thinking about a head shape. It could look like a kidney shape. It could look like an oval. It could look like a square. So you're going to draw that with your paint dabbers, and then you're going to fill it in. These are like extra cool markers, and they dry really quickly, kind of like a paint. So we're thinking about big shapes here, not the typical shapes, maybe some organic shapes, if you remember those types of shapes. Then we're going to think about hair, however you want to draw hair, and then you're going to fill that in. It's really good if you use a different color for this. And try not to overlap the colors, so you would just want to stick with one color, like I did the purple head, and then I'm doing the blue hair, and I don't want the blue to go on top of the purple. This is really important if you have the color yellow, because yellow tends to get a little dirty. If you have a color and you're looking at it and it looks dirty like yellow, just rub it on your messy mat a couple times and it should help clear it up. Next, I did my neck shape, and now I'm just going to fill in the background with some other things. Think of patterns, shapes, lines, anything that you want to fill in the background with. These are really fun to make dots with. Pablo Picasso used a lot of different shapes, a lot of different patterns. He broke those shapes up and they almost look fragmented. So think about that for your background. Zigzag lines, stripes. Use a variety of different colors. When you are done doing your background, then we're going to move on to the facial features, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the lips, all of those things. So you're going to put this to the side, and it will dry really quickly. And then you're going to put your name on this worksheet, and you can use the crayons or markers to add colors to these. You can fill in all of them, but we're only going to use 2 eyes, 1 nose, and 1 mouth next week. But feel free to color in whatever ones that you want. And then next week, when we start actually cutting these shapes out and pasting them down onto our artwork, you can figure out which eye that you like the most, which color combination you like the most. So when you're doing and when you're coloring the different eyes and the mouth and the nose, use a variety of different colors. Have fun with them. Maybe look up at the crayon boxes and see what kind of color schemes you want to use. Maybe do an eye that's secondary color. Maybe do a nose that's warm colors. Maybe do a mouth that's just primary colors. That would be interesting color combination. And then when you're completely done with both worksheets, you're going to be turning them into your folder at the end of class. Make sure you're coloring inside of the lines. You're filling everything in, not leaving any white space.